27, and he said unto them, the Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath. What is the role of the Sabbath? Is it the benefits of the physical or the spiritual? And of course, the Sabbath isn't necessarily a timely thing under Christianity. It's not just to be the Sunday. It's if you're in Jesus. It's a spiritual, not a physical thing. That Jesus is the rest for a Christian follower, collectively come together on a certain day. It's not just a 24-hour period, which is what the Pharisees were saying.
There are a number of things that you can look at with the Sabbath. The stream of the understanding of the Sabbath from the Jewish tradition, and then you've got what the Sabbath now means to a Christian, because it obviously doesn't mean the same thing to a Christian as it did to the first century Jews who were living at the time of Jesus, or indeed Jesus as a first century Jewish rabbi. There is a concept in the rabbinical teaching known as pikuach nefesh, which basically means it's talking about the importance of preserving human life. And the importance of preserving human life is absolutely paramount. Leviticus 19:16 tells you that you don't just stand by to watch your neighbour being killed or the blood of your neighbour flow. You don't do that. It's a very, very important thing. Basically, you can't sit back and do nothing if life which is sacred is threatened in any way. So the preservation of human life in any way, shape or form ranks above Sabbath observance in order of importance. So that was really important. There was like a ranking system that was embodied by the Hebrew term docher, and it means to override or supersede. And there are lots of rabbinical discussions about the order of priority that certain commandments had, where there's conflicts of interest and all of that sort of thing. Rabbi Akiva, who was a late 1st century to early 2nd century AD, he says this, and this is recorded in Mekilta Rabbi Ishmael Shabbata, and it's on Exodus 31:13. And the rabbi says this: if punishment for murder overrides, docher, even the temple sacrifice, and the temple sacrifice overrides, docher, the Sabbath, how much more should the duty of saving life, pikuach nefesh, that I talked about, override, docher, the Sabbath laws? Overriding Sabbath laws, overriding temple sacrifices, overriding everything is the preservation of human life. It says there is nothing that comes before the saving of life. What has that got to do with eating grains of corn? Well, basically, the rabbis understood that as being something that's essential to human life. If you're ravenously hungry, then you need to eat. In fact, one of the rabbis talks about that if ravenous hunger seizes a man, he may be given even unclean things to eat until his eyes are enlightened.